Hi, it's Jay Green. I'm an experienced flipper, and I wanted to share with you this spreadsheet. If you are interested in flipping or you're an experienced flipper right now, you should be using my spreadsheet to be analyzing and considering every single flip you're going to be buying or consider buying. This spreadsheet will keep you out of trouble. It'll help you determine what you should be paying for these properties here in Southern California, and also helping you in analyzing and determining how much net profit, pre-tax net profit you're going to make from these flips. So I'm just going to walk you through this spreadsheet I created. I flipped over 100 houses the last 12 years. I'm actually in the process of writing a book on the subject because I want to share my experiences with you so you make money, you stay out of trouble, and you keep your flipping profitable. As you know, right now, the California real estate market, as of right now, it's December 2020, the market is incredibly hot. It's great if you're a seller, but it's a real challenge if you're a buyer or a flipper trying to buy a property right now in the current economic climate. So let me walk you through this spreadsheet, and I'm going to show you how to analyze a deal, and with the four main things that you want to consider when you're buying a flip. The four main things are, what are you paying for it? That's one of the most important things in a flip, because the other factors are going to be relatively constant, meaning what it's going to sell for. You should be able to establish that number. And then also your rehab. How much are you going to spend for labors and material to fix up the property? When I started about 12 years ago, full-time flipping, my average flip cost me about $35,000, maybe $40,000. Now it's much higher. It's like $55,000, $60,000. Contractors are really busy right now, and material costs have gone up quite a bit. So has labor. And so if you, to make a good flip and have the quality turn out really good, you need to spend money to do it properly. So let me walk you through my spreadsheet. So what I normally do is I start with an address here. So 123 Elm Street, and I'm Whittier. Let's say the property's in Whittier. And then I'm just going to put in today's date. And the reason I do this only so I can go back and references or tweak my spreadsheet as I'm analyzing any property. I can quickly find it saved in my computer, and then I'll save it up here in a name in a folder. So what we're going to do is let's start with a property that you found. A realtor has brought this to you, or you're a realtor and you found it on the MLS, or you've sent out some mailers, or you've knocked on a door and you found this property that a realtor or a property owner wants to sell you. So let's say this realtor is going to sell you, or this property owner is going to sell this property to you for $475,000. That's what you're buying it for. So you're going to put in here in purchase price, you're going to put in right there $475,000 for the purchase price. And then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to determine how much the repairs are going to cost me. Now, you can take a contractor over to the property, which is ideal. But when you're analyzing deals and you're trying to make a quick decision, there's a lot of time spent in taking a contractor over to a property. If you want to do it, I mean, that's probably the best and most accurate way to determine what the labor and material cost is going to cost you to fix up and repair and remodel that property. But when you're looking at a lot of deals, it just takes a lot of time, and it's so competitive right now that you really want to come up with a number that you're in the ballpark. So let's say it's $50,000, $60,000. Once you flip a lot of properties and you get some experience, you're going to be able to walk through a property and pretty much assess what it's going to cost you to rehab that property. So let's say I walk through the property by myself or with a contractor, and I determine it's going to cost me $60,000 for repairs. All right, so I put that number in here into repairs. I already put in the purchase price of $475, and I'm going to figure out how long it's going to take me from when I own the property to when I sell it, which is deed to deed, grant deed to grant deed, how long that's going to take me. Right now, I'm trying to get in and out of my properties in 3 to 4 months. So under timeline, you're going to put in either 3 months here or 4 months. And that changes everything. And then we're going to go to the top and we're going to put in where it says projected resale price, ARV. ARV is after repaired value. That's the selling price or the value of the property after you've made the repairs, the improvements, the remodeling. So let's say that I've looked at my comparable sales. I've gone out a half a mile. I've looked at similar houses that are selling. And I determine I think this property is going to sell for $650,000. So I'm going to put that in here. Next thing I'm going to do is now I am a licensed broker. I can list some of my own properties and I'm going to save some money there. Even though I'm a broker, I'm going to put into my spreadsheet about 2.5% to the buyer's agent, or what's called the selling agent. That's the person, the licensed realtor that's representing the buyer. So when I put on the MLS, I'm attracting other realtors, other brokers who are working with their buyers, and I'm going to be paying out a commission unless I get the buyer, which is possible, but I don't want to make that assumption. So I'm going to put in about 2.5%. You can determine whether it's going to be what market you're in, if it's 2, 2.25, 2.5, 2.75, 3%, or sometimes more depending on the market you're in. So I'm going to use about 2.5% to the listing agent. Buyer's credits are usually credits that go to the buyer, if depending on the type of loan or if they need credits to close. In this market, I'm not going to put that in because it's a very competitive market and most buyers are putting down a fairly large down payment and they're not asking for credits necessarily. But let's just leave that blank right now. And then the disposition selling expenses are your selling cost when you sell the property. And that's going to be your escrow, your title, recording, transfer fees, notary fees, all the costs that are associated, not loan costs, but all your like third-party costs and recording and those types of fees that you're going to pay as a seller. Even if you did for sale by owner or you're using a realtor, you're still going to have these costs unless the buyer's paying for it. But normally, you're gonna, as a seller, you're gonna have expenses like this. So put in about 1% as a good number. It might be a little bit less, but that's gonna give you kind of a ballpark on what it's gonna cost for title, escrow, recording fees, notary fees, etc., documentary transfer tax fees. So put in 1% at $6,500 on our selling price of $650. Now the next thing is our listing commission. If I'm selling my own property, I'm not going to have any number in there, but I'm going to assume that you aren't a realtor, you're not a broker, and so put in 2.5%. Now you can, if you find someone to do it cheaper, some people will do it. Some people, meaning realtors or brokers, will list your property for a lot less. It could be 1%, 1.5%, 1.75%. Let's just use 2.5% to have a nice number in here, and that could change depending on who you use to sell your property. Whether you're a realtor or broker and you're selling your own property, then obviously you'll take that out. Now you're going to have property taxes, and this is going to be based on how long you own the property and in what county your property is located. So you want to determine what are your property taxes going to be for the period you've owned the property. So I have my spreadsheet. I also encourage you to get to learn how to use Excel. It's not difficult. Go on YouTube, take a few classes. It's just nice to be able to work out some of the formulas in Excel. See the little formula at the top here that I created. So it's based on how long I own my project goes for. And it calculates up here the actual approximate property tax liability I'm going to have. So we put in our property taxes based on a percentage for the particular county the property is located in. Now the next field is going to be termite. I'm going to put $1,500 in there. Now it can be a lot more. Termite and fumigation can get up to $10,000 or more. But when I rehab my properties, I normally take care of dry rot and wood in those types of things. I change the wood. I do the actual termite repairs that are called out in a termite report within my rehab. So let's just put in $1,500, which is, in the general area of your fumigation. If a termite company says you need to fumigate, put a 10 on, it'll be in that ballpark, $1,500. So as you can see, flipper, it's going to cost you about $43,000 in cost to sell a $650,000 house. It's important when you're analyzing your flips to know what these costs are, because people call me, quite often and say, Jay, I'm buying this house for $475,000 or $500,000. I can sell it for $650,000, and I'm gonna, and they think they're gonna make this huge windfall of money, but they don't take the time. I'm surprised by how many people, even experienced flippers, that don't take the time to run numbers, and they don't really know how much money they're going to make or lose on their flip. Now, this model I'm showing you, this spreadsheet is with a private money loan. If you're a flipper and you use cash, then we can take out the private money and you're going to be making significantly more money. You're at a definite, tremendous advantage in this market, or in any market, if you have cash and you don't need to borrow private money. Private money is a great tool. It allows you to leverage into these deals with very little money out of your pocket. Well, let me restate that. With relatively little money out of your pocket, you can borrow a lot of the money from a private lender. I'm a private lender, and buy a property for $475,000. In this case, with about $130,000, $140,000 out of your pocket. Now, you can do it with less, and depending on your experience, because I lend a lot of first mortgages, second private money loans, and I've helped flippers buy a flip with relatively no money out of their pocket when they're buying. And that's the experience I have at GW Private Capital. So talk to me about your unique situation, and I'll try to tailor some loans for you so you can leverage into your deal with very little money. Now, but let's assume that you have, for most experienced flippers, you can borrow a first mortgage of about 80 to 90% of the purchase price. So let's go with a loan amount of 85% of purchase, and that means you're going to be putting 15% down. So I'm putting in 15%, which is going to be $71,250 based on a purchase price of $475,000. Now, my formula, that's what's nice about Excel, is that if I change the down payment, it'll calculate these figures and change my loan amount and everything. So let's put in 15% down. So you're going to be obtaining a private money loan of 85% of the purchase price. 85% of $475,000 is $403,750. Now, private money loans, the rates are higher. You're not going to be getting bank interest rates. These are loans that are typically funded by private investors or mortgage pools or private funds. And we're not so concerned with the property condition. We can even lend money to people that don't have the best of credit. So expect a higher rate. Expect rates in the high 7s, into the high 9s, and even over 10% for first mortgages. If you're borrowing a second mortgage, those rates are going to be higher, anywhere from about 10 to 15% for second mortgages. And most of these loans are structured with an interest-only payment required every month. So if you're borrowing $403,750, the monthly interest-only payment with a 9.5% interest rate is going to be $3,196. That's the monthly payment. So as a flipper that's using private money, you need to have reserves set aside to be able to make that monthly interest payment. It's possible that you might find a lender that's going to defer the interest payments, but the majority of private lenders are going to require that you make a monthly interest payment. And then when you go to pay the loan off, when you sell it, then you'll pay what's called per diem or daily accrued interest. So if you pay the loan off like in the middle of the month, and you pay about 15 days worth of interest rather than a full month. And escrow will help calculate what that per diem is. And so I have my repairs. So now in addition to the interest in borrowing private money, you're also going to have loan origination costs, meaning you're usually going to pay points. On a private money loan, it's going to be anywhere from about 1 to 3 points. 1 point is 1% of the loan amount. So 1% of 475 is 4,750. But anticipate paying about 2 to 3 points for the majority of private money lenders out there. So I put 3% in here. That's going to cover your points, underwriting, appraisal, doc fee, all the other costs that go into borrowing the private money loan. So it's not just the interest you pay, but actually loan fees, settlement charges that are charged to you, and you need to pay those up front. You normally pay those when you close on the property. So you need to have another $12,000 here for loan fees approximately. It might be a little bit less, might be a little bit more, depending on who you're borrowing the money from. So I put that in my spreadsheet. Now, if you're borrowing a second mortgage, I do have a line here, and I'll put in the interest rate, but let's assume that you're going to have the 15% to put down, you're going to have the money for the repairs, you're going to have the money for the loan origination fees of $12,000, and so that's what you're pretty much going to need to buy this property, is the repairs, the down payment, and the closing costs. So, but our analysis is not just for the purchase now, it's really looking down the road ahead when you sell the property. When you sell the property for $650, we're trying to determine what's your pre-tax net profit going to be, so you can determine if you even want to buy this property or you want to renegotiate the price. So assuming, again, we're selling it for $650, we're buying it for $475, we're putting $60,000 in repairs, and this property is going to be sold to another buyer in 4 months. We, or you rather, buying this can have a pre-tax net profit of a little over $38,000. That's a good deal. If you can actually find a property like this from a realtor or directly with a seller or an attorney or anywhere you can find a deal, I would buy this deal. People always ask me, Jay, what's the minimum return on investment you want from your flip? And I don't necessarily have a minimum ROI or annual return. Now, I also lend money to people, and I'm getting usually 12 to 14% on my money. So usually, if I'm not going to be achieving those types of returns from a flip, then I'm just going to lend my money to people, and I'm not even going to be in the flip game. So I don't have a hard, rigid number, but I just compare my investment opportunities to one another. Am I going to lend money? Am I going to go buy a flip? Am I going to do something else with my money? So you want to be in the flip game to make money and get really good returns, because it does take a lot of time, and it's not a passive investment where you're just you're putting it in the bank, or you're just putting money there and you're getting a predetermined expected return. This is a active investment. You're going to be meeting with contractors. You're going to be going to the property on a regular basis. This is an active investment that's also not only going to require your capital, but also your time. It's very time intensive, and it needs to be monitored and managed. You're not just going to put up your money unless you're the private investor and you're putting up this $403,000. That's going to be a little more passive, because once you've made the loan to the investor, the buyer, then you just sit back and wait for your payments to come in and for them to fix up the house and sell it. But you're the flipper, you own this property, and you need to get it fixed up and get it on the market and get it sold. And there's a lot of steps between you buying it and you selling it. So if I can make $38,000 on an investment, and basically in this case you're putting up the down payment of $71,000, you're putting up the rehab, you're paying for hazard insurance, you're paying for utilities, for gas, electric, water. Let's say you've pulled permits you've drawn plans, you put that out of your pocket, and also you've made 4 months of $3,100 payments, so that's $12,785. So basically, you're putting $71,000, $60,000, $12,000, $12,000 to buy it, insurance, maintenance, hazard insurance, utilities, and then you're that's the money out of your pocket, and you're gonna figure out if I can make $38,000 on that money I put out of my pocket, and then you figure out for how many months you've had it. If it's only a 4-month project, then your annual return could be very, very high. So what I usually shoot for is, depending on the purchase price of a deal I'm buying, if I'm buying a $475,000 house and I'm not adding on to it, I can get in and out of it in 3 to 6 months, I'd probably be happy with like a $25,000 to $30,000 pre-tax net profit. And the reason why you want to set that number probably at least 25 or 30 grand is because in life things happen. What if your property doesn't sell for $650,000? What if it takes you longer than 4 months? What if someone burns down your garage? Now you have to tender a title, an insurance claim, and it takes you another 6 months. It takes you almost a year to build this. Then it adds, another 6 months at $3,100, $3,200. Now you're adding, another, $18,000. You can see how the pre-tax net profit can really erode. I've lost money flipping properties, and it's not fun. The best investment you can make is the one you just pass on. You need to make quick decisions when you're going to buy a flip. You want to decide, are you going to buy it? If not, move on to the next deal. And you don't want to waste a lot of time. I see too many people investing so much of their time going to the city, driving all the comps. You want to be able to quickly, if a realtor or a homeowner, if someone gives you the opportunity to buy a property, you want to be within a couple hours, determine if you want the deal. I would recommend just walk the property or drive by it, determine the condition and what it's going to cost to rehab it. So you want to anchor that. You want to anchor the repairs cost. Then you want to find out how much do they want for the property. They want $475. Do they want $500? And then you want to figure out, okay, I think I can get in and out of this property in 4 months, 3 months, 2 months, 6 months. Put that in. And then look at some comps, or ask the realtor, ask your, or like I said, drive around, look at some comps, or just jump on the MLS, and you can, within like 15 minutes, get a good idea looking at comparing your property to other properties that are pending, that have closed, that are under contract. I don't really look at active properties too much. I mean, it gives you some information, but until those have sold or are pending or under contract, they're just properties on the market. It'll give you a little bit of idea of what they might sell for, but some people overprice their properties and they're not really solid comps. So you want to look at comparable sales. I usually stay within like 10-15% of the square footage. If I have a 3-bedroom house, I try to look at other 3-bedroom houses. If you're buying a 2-bedroom house, do not compare your house to 3-bedroom house. Only look at other 2-bedroom houses. You're comparing apples to oranges, comparing a 2-bedroom to a 3-bedroom house. It's like comparing a 2-door sports car to a 4-door SUV. They're completely different. So if you're buying a 2-bedroom, only look at 2-bedroom comps. If you're buying a 3-bedroom, you can compare it to 4 bedrooms because they're a little closer. Obviously, a 4-bedroom house is going to have more value than a 3-bedroom house, but you're going to be okay. Square footage is very important. Are you buying 1,000 square foot house? You don't want to be looking at 2,000 square foot houses. If you're buying a 1,000 square foot house, try to stay at go up to maybe 1,200, 1,300 square feet. You can go a little bit larger to get more data, but if you find other comps that are like another 1,000 square foot house or 1,100, 1,200, you want to be relatively close. You want to be comparing apples to apples of your property. Also look at the lot size. It has a little bit of bearing. You want to compare your property to single family homes if it is a single family home. And so you want to be able to establish your 650 value. Are the other comps, are they fixed up? Are they in average condition? That's great. If you're looking at other houses that aren't fixed up and they're selling for 650, then you're probably going to sell more than 650. If all the comps you're looking at are, fixed up, turnkey, beautiful flips, and they're at 650 or in the neighborhood, then get comfortable with your number. You want to rely on that. It'd be nice to go over that number, and based on the market we're in, it's most likely possible, if the market continues the way it is, you'll sell for more than 650. That you want to get really comfortable with that number. And don't let other people tell you what it's going to sell for. I get deals brought to me all the time where I think it's going to sell for 650, and people are telling me it's going to hit 700, or just these pie in the sky numbers they're out there, but they're like, a mile away, and they're like completely different properties. So you want to be able to rely on your own information. Don't let anybody else tell you, unless you find realtors and partners and other people that you get to trust their values. Do your own homework. Do not rely on other people. You can rely on a contractor that you've used and you trust to give you the repairs budget of $60,000, and also ask them, how long is this going to take you? That's very important, especially when you're paying private money costs. You want to get in and out of this deal as quickly as possible. So I hope this spreadsheet has helped you. I'll email you the spreadsheet. Call me or text me. My phone number is 714-747-1912, and I'll email you the spreadsheet. The reason I want to teach you how to analyze deals with this spreadsheet is because I would love to partner with you. I would love to buy a deal from you, or I would love to lend you private money, or be your partner. So if you need help in any of those capacities, selling me a deal, partnering, borrowing private money, I am very experienced in this area. So don't hesitate to give me a call, and I'll send you my spreadsheet. No cost at all. I just want to educate you. I want you to succeed as a flipper, as a realtor, working with sellers. If you're a realtor and you need to fix up your seller's house, I can help them flip their own property. I can put up the money, bring in my reliable contractors. You be the hero realtor and help your seller put tens of thousands of dollars more in their pocket by fixing up their property. I have a lot of resources, a lot of experience, and I look forward to working with you in 2021 to make more money, help you make more money, and help you succeed as a flipper or a realtor or as a partner. And if you want to make private lending a profit center for yourself, and you have clients that want to borrow private money, call me up and let's talk about that, how you can make offering private money loans to your customers a profit center. Anyways, I hope you found this video helpful. Please give me your comments, subscribe to my channel, give me a thumbs up, like, and I look forward to doing business with you. Thank you so much.